Mina was a young mechanic who worked in a small garage at the edge of a quiet town. She loved her job more than anything else in the world. Every morning, she would wake up before the sun and walk to her garage, carrying her toolbox and wearing her favorite blue overalls. She loved fixing cars, listening to the sound of engines, and watching them come back to life after being broken or old. Mina was known in town for her skills, but she always dreamed of finding something rare, something no one else had ever seen. One rainy afternoon, after finishing her work, Mina decided to take a short walk. The streets were empty, and the smell of wet earth filled the air. She enjoyed the quiet moments when she could think about her dreams and plans. As she walked near an old warehouse at the edge of town, something unusual caught her eye. Behind the building, partly hidden by tall grass and mud, was a car. It looked very old, maybe decades old. Its paint had faded to a dull brown, and the tires were flat. Rainwater had collected in small puddles on its roof. The windows were covered with dust and grime, making it almost impossible to see inside. Mina felt a sudden excitement in her chest. She had never seen this car before, and something told her it was special. Mina stepped closer, brushing aside some weeds to get a better view. The car was a vintage model, the kind she had only seen in pictures. Its shape was elegant, with curved fenders and a shiny chrome bumper that, despite the rust, still caught the light. The doors were locked, and it was clear that no one had touched it for a very long time. But Mina could feel a story behind the car, waiting to be discovered. "I wonder what happened to you," she said quietly, her hand brushing against the dusty hood. "Who left you here? Why did they abandon you?" She took out her phone and took a few pictures. Then she looked around. The warehouse seemed empty, and the street was quiet. Mina had a sudden idea. If she could fix this car, even a little, she could bring it back to her garage and explore it safely. She imagined cleaning it, repairing the engine, and discovering its secrets. The next morning, Mina returned to the warehouse with her toolbox. She wore her gloves and carried a small crowbar in case the doors were stuck. She examined the car carefully. The locks were old, and the rust had made them stiff. Mina took her time, turning the key carefully in her mind, imagining how she could open the doors without breaking anything. After several attempts, with patience and careful effort, she finally managed to open the driver's side door. The smell inside was strong, a mix of old leather, dust, and dampness. Mina covered her nose and looked around. The seats were cracked but still had a faded charm. The dashboard was dusty, and some of the dials were broken, but Mina could already see the potential. She climbed into the driver's seat, running her fingers along the steering wheel. It felt smooth, worn by time, as if it had once been cherished by someone. As she explored the interior, her eyes fell on a small, unusual shape under the floor mat. She bent down and carefully lifted it. It was a small box, made of wood, with a rusty metal clasp. Mina's heart raced. Who would hide a box in a car like this? She took it out carefully and brushed off the dust. The box looked old, fragile, and important. Mina carried the box to her garage, placing it on a clean workbench. She studied it from every angle. The wood was dark, with small carvings that looked like symbols or patterns. The metal clasp was rusty, but it could still be opened. Mina's hands trembled slightly as she unfastened the clasp. Inside, she found letters, photographs, and small papers. The letters were yellowed with age, written in neat handwriting. Mina read the first one. It spoke of a couple who had owned the car long ago. They wrote about trips they had taken, places they had seen, and dreams they had shared. The photographs showed the couple standing beside the same car, smiling proudly. Mina could feel their joy, their love for the car, and their desire to keep something safe. She realized the box was more than a collection of old papers. It was a message from the past, a story waiting to be discovered. Mina carefully placed the letters and photographs back in the box. She knew she needed to find out more about the car, its owners, and the story hidden inside. The next day, Mina went to the town library. She searched through old newspapers, car records, and archives. After hours of searching, she discovered that the car had belonged to a famous inventor who had lived in the town many decades ago. The inventor had disappeared mysteriously, and the car had been abandoned ever since. Mina felt a shiver run down her spine. Could the box and the car be connected to a mystery that had lasted for years? Excited and determined, Mina returned to her garage. She cleaned the car carefully, wiping away years of dust and mud. She checked the engine, tires, and brakes. She was not sure if it would start, but she wanted to understand every part of it. As she worked, she imagined the adventures the car had been part of, the places it had seen, and the stories it had carried. Later that evening, Mina sat in the car, holding the box in her hands. She felt a strong connection to the past, to the people who had once owned the car. She knew that finding the car and the box was only the beginning. There was a story waiting for her, a mystery hidden in time, and she was determined to uncover it. Mina smiled to herself. She had always dreamed of discovering something rare, something extraordinary, and now she had found it. The car, abandoned and forgotten, had chosen her. And Mina knew that whatever was hidden inside the box, inside the car, would change her life forever. From that moment, Mina promised herself that she would explore every corner of the car, every letter in the box, and every clue in the photographs. She would uncover the story of the vintage car, the couple who had loved it, and the secrets left behind by the mysterious inventor. Mina felt excitement, curiosity, and courage all at once. She had found something amazing, something that no one else had seen, and she was ready to follow it wherever it would lead. The next morning, Mina returned to her garage with a sense of excitement that made her heart beat faster. She looked at the vintage car, still dusty but gleaming slightly under the morning sun. Today, she would examine the small wooden box she had found hidden beneath the floor mat. She placed it carefully on the workbench, its metal clasp glinting faintly. Mina took a deep breath and slowly opened the box. Inside, she found old letters tied together with a thin, faded ribbon, a few black and white photographs, and a small, folded piece of paper with strange markings. She gently lifted the letters, careful not to tear them. Each one was dated from the 1940s. The handwriting was beautiful, precise, and full of personality. The first letter was from a man named Arif to a woman named Lena. Mina read the words aloud quietly, feeling a connection to the past. Arif wrote about his excitement when he bought the car, describing how it made him feel alive. He talked about taking long drives in the countryside, watching the sunset, and sharing dreams with Lena. He mentioned keeping something hidden in the car, something very important, and asked Lena to protect it. Mina's curiosity grew. She picked up the photographs next. They showed Arif and Lena standing proudly next to the same car. The couple was smiling, their clothes old-fashioned but elegant. In one photo, Arif held a small, strange-looking key. Mina held her breath. Could the key in the photo match the folded paper with markings in the box? She carefully unfolded the small piece of paper. It was a map, drawn by hand, showing locations in the town and in the nearby hills. There were numbers written along the edges and symbols that looked like doors, locks, and secret paths. Mina's eyes widened. This was not just a collection of letters and photos, it was a puzzle. A hidden mystery left behind by the couple. Mina realized that solving this puzzle would take time. She would need help, someone clever with codes, maps, and hidden messages. Immediately, she thought of her friend Ravi. Ravi was not a mechanic, but he loved puzzles and adventures. He often helped Mina with complicated ideas in the garage. She picked up her phone and called him. "Ravi, you have to see this," Mina said, excitement in her voice. "I found a vintage car, and inside it, there is a box with letters, photos, and a map. It's incredible." Ravi's voice was curious. "A map? A vintage car? Mina, this sounds like an adventure. I'll come over right away." Within an hour, Ravi arrived at Mina's garage. He wore his backpack filled with notebooks, pencils, and magnifying glasses. He had a smile that showed he loved a challenge. Mina showed him the box, the letters, the photographs, and the map. Ravi examined everything carefully. "This is amazing," he said. "The letters tell a story, the photographs show the owners, and this map, it looks like it leads to something hidden. Someone went to great lengths to protect it. Mina nodded. I think they left a treasure or a secret. Maybe the inventor mentioned something important that no one has found yet. Ravi studied the map closely. Look here, he said, pointing to a series of symbols along a river and a hill. These symbols match the numbers on this note. I think it is a code. If we follow it carefully, it could lead to the exact location of what they wanted to hide. Mina felt a thrill. This was exactly what she had hoped for when she discovered the car. It was more than a job, it was an adventure waiting to happen. Together, she and Ravi began making a plan. They would follow the map, decode the symbols, and find the hidden secret. Before setting out, Mina decided to explore the car more thoroughly. She opened the trunk, which creaked as it moved. Inside, she found old tools, a spare tire, and a few faded maps. One map seemed different from the others. It had strange drawings of gears, machines, and what looked like an unfinished invention. Mina carefully folded it and put it in her bag. She had a feeling it might be important later. Ravi and Mina spent the afternoon comparing the map in the box with the maps they found in the car. They drew lines, matched symbols, and wrote down possible codes. The process was slow but exciting. Each new connection made them feel closer to understanding the mystery. As the evening approached, Mina and Ravi sat on stools in the garage, tired but excited. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow on the vintage car. Mina looked at it and whispered, I think this car is more than just a vehicle. It's a story, a secret, and maybe even a message from the past. Ravi smiled. And we are the ones lucky enough to uncover it. Tomorrow, we start our journey. That night, Mina could not sleep. She thought about the couple in the photographs, their lives, their adventures, and the secret they had hidden so carefully. She imagined herself walking through the places marked on the map, uncovering the mystery step by step. Her excitement made her heart race, but she also felt a little nervous. Adventures could be unpredictable, and she knew they might face challenges. The next morning, Mina prepared the car for a short trip. She checked the engine, cleaned the tires, and ensured everything was ready. She carefully packed the box, the maps, and a few tools she might need. Ravi arrived soon after, carrying a backpack filled with supplies, notebooks, and a flashlight. Together, they were ready to follow the clues left behind decades ago. Before leaving, Mina looked at the car one last time. It had been abandoned for years, but now it had a purpose again. It was no longer just a forgotten vehicle. It was a doorway to a story, a puzzle, and a secret waiting to be revealed. Mina felt a sense of responsibility. She knew she had to respect the past, understand the letters, follow the maps, and uncover the mystery carefully. As they drove toward the hills, the road winding and wet from recent rain, Mina thought about the letters, the photographs, and the map. Each element seemed ordinary at first, but together they created an extraordinary story. She knew that this adventure would test her patience, her intelligence, and her courage. But she also knew that it would be worth it. Mina smiled at Ravi. We are about to uncover something amazing, she said. Ravi nodded. And it all started with this abandoned car. Who would have thought? The journey was just beginning. Mina felt excitement mixed with curiosity. She had discovered a hidden world inside a car that everyone else had ignored. A world full of letters, photographs, maps, and secrets. And she knew, deep in her heart, that the adventure would change her life forever. Mina and Ravi began their journey early in the morning. The sun was just rising, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink. They had packed their bags with essentials, water, notebooks, flashlights, and the small box from the vintage car. Mina also brought along the map and letters, carefully folded and protected. She felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. This adventure was unlike anything she had ever done before. The first part of the map led them toward a narrow path near the edge of the town. It was overgrown with bushes, and the ground was uneven, but Mina was determined. She carefully stepped over roots and rocks while Ravi followed, holding the map and checking the symbols. Each symbol seemed to point toward something hidden, and both of them knew that patience and attention to detail would be important. This symbol here looks like a lock, Ravi said, pointing to a drawing on the map. I think we need to find a key or a mechanism nearby. Maybe the inventor left something physical to open a hidden compartment. Mina looked around. The area was quiet, except for the chirping of birds and the rustling of leaves in the wind. She spotted a large rock near the path that seemed out of place. Its shape was unusual, almost like it had been moved on purpose. Mina carefully lifted it, and under it, they found a small metal key, old and rusty but still intact. This must be it, Mina whispered. She held the key in her hand, feeling the thrill of discovery. It was the first real clue they had found beyond the letters and maps. Ravi smiled. Good job, Mina. Now we are ready to follow the rest of the map. The path continued into a small forest, with tall trees and thick undergrowth. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating patterns on the ground. Mina felt a sense of adventure in the air. Every step seemed to bring them closer to something important. She could feel that the secret they were seeking was not far away. After walking for an hour, they reached a clearing marked on the map. In the center of the clearing was an old stone structure, half covered by vines and moss. It looked like a small shed or storage space from many decades ago. Mina approached it carefully. The door was old and made of wood, but there was a small lock shaped exactly like the key they had found. With trembling hands, Mina inserted the key and turned it. The lock clicked, and the door slowly creaked open. Inside, the space was dark and dusty, but Mina's flashlight revealed something incredible. There were shelves filled with old tools, papers, and small mechanical parts. But what caught their attention immediately was a large wooden chest in the corner of the room. Ravi and Mina exchanged excited glances. This must be it, Ravi said softly. The hidden secret the inventor wanted to protect. Mina approached the chest carefully. She saw that it had intricate carvings on its surface, similar to the ones on the wooden box she had found in the car. The chest was locked with a combination mechanism, and she realized that the letters and symbols from the map might contain the code. Together, Mina and Ravi studied the map and the notes. They matched the symbols on the map with numbers on the letters. It took them nearly an hour, but finally, they determined the correct sequence. Mina entered the numbers carefully. The lock clicked open, and the chest lid lifted slowly, revealing its contents. Inside, they found a collection of inventions and journals. The inventions were small mechanical devices, carefully crafted with precision. Some were tiny engines, others were tools designed to solve everyday problems. But what amazed Mina the most were the journals. They were filled with drawings, diagrams, and ideas for machines that seemed far ahead of their time. Mina carefully opened one of the journals. The handwriting was neat, and the pages were filled with sketches of gears, pulleys, and designs for machines that could lift, move, and create energy. She could feel the intelligence and creativity of the inventor in every line. Ravi was equally amazed. These are incredible, he said. It is like discovering a mind from the past that was years ahead of everyone else. Mina realized that the true treasure was not gold or jewels. It was knowledge, creativity, and ideas that had been hidden carefully for decades. The inventor had wanted to protect these inventions, perhaps to prevent them from being stolen or misused. Mina felt honored to be the one to uncover them. They spent hours examining the chest and the journals. Every page revealed something new, some clever design or hidden idea. Mina and Ravi took notes, photographed some of the diagrams, and carefully organized everything in their backpacks. They knew they could share the journals with experts later, but for now, it was important to study them carefully. As the sun began to set, Mina and Ravi prepared to leave the clearing. They carefully locked the chest again and left it as they found it, knowing it might be unsafe to carry everything at once. Mina felt a strong connection to the inventor. The journey had become more than just an adventure. It was a way to honor someone's life and creativity. Walking back through the forest, Mina reflected on the day's discoveries. She had found a key, unlocked a secret chest, and uncovered inventions that had been hidden for decades. The thrill of solving puzzles, following clues, and discovering something important made her heart race. Ravi smiled at her. Tomorrow, we continue. I think the map still has more clues. There may be other secrets left behind. Meena nodded. She felt both excited and determined. The adventure was far from over. The letters, photographs and maps from the car had led them here, but she knew that the story of the inventor and his hidden creations was still waiting to be fully revealed. That night, Meena carefully placed the journals and inventions in her garage. She cleaned the vintage car and parked it safely, thinking about how it had led them to the hidden chest. The car was no longer just an abandoned vehicle. It was a gateway to a story, a puzzle, and a treasure of knowledge. Before going to sleep, Meena wrote in her notebook about the discoveries of the day. She drew sketches of the inventions and copied the symbols from the map. She wanted to remember every detail, knowing that the next part of the journey might be even more challenging. As she drifted off to sleep, Meena dreamed of the adventures still ahead. She imagined the inventor's life, the careful planning to hide his creations, and the excitement of solving the remaining mysteries. She knew that following the map, decoding the clues, and uncovering the secrets would require courage, intelligence, and teamwork. But Meena was ready. She had found the abandoned car, discovered the secret box, and uncovered the first hidden treasure. Now, the real adventure had begun. The next morning, Meena and Ravi packed their bags carefully, ready to continue the adventure. The journals and inventions they had discovered were safely stored in Meena's garage, but the map still pointed toward another location, further away in the hills beyond the town. Meena felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. She had never explored the hills before, but she knew that the final secret of the vintage car and the hidden chest might be waiting there. They drove the vintage car slowly along the winding roads, its engine rumbling steadily. Meena loved the way the car felt under her hands, even after so many years of being abandoned. The sun rose higher, casting a warm glow on the trees and hills. Birds sang, and the air smelled fresh, filled with the scent of wet earth from the recent rain. Meena felt alive, and Ravi noticed the sparkle in her eyes. "This place is beautiful," Ravi said, looking out at the rolling hills. "It feels like the map was made just for this adventure." Meena smiled. "And I feel like the inventor wanted someone curious and brave enough to follow it." The path led them to a dense forest at the base of the hills. The trees were tall and close together, and sunlight barely touched the ground. The map showed a series of markings that indicated a hidden trail, but it was not easy to follow. Meena and Ravi carefully stepped over fallen branches and rocks. The trail was uneven, sometimes muddy, and occasionally blocked by thick shrubs. "This is going to take patience," Meena said, wiping sweat from her forehead. "We need to follow the symbols exactly, or we might miss something important." Ravi nodded, carefully comparing the markings on the map with the surroundings. They moved slowly but steadily, noticing small clues along the way: a stone with a carved symbol, a tree with unusual markings on the bark, and a pile of rocks arranged in a pattern. Each sign confirmed that they were on the right path. After a few hours, they reached a small clearing. In the center stood an old stone wall, half covered in moss. The map indicated that the inventor had hidden something behind this wall. Meena examined the wall closely. There were tiny cracks and an unusual stone that seemed slightly out of place. She pressed it gently, and to her surprise, a small panel slid open, revealing a narrow tunnel. Ravi shone his flashlight inside. The tunnel was dark, but it seemed to continue for several meters. Meena felt a thrill run through her. This was exactly what they had been searching for. She took a deep breath and stepped into the tunnel, with Ravi following closely behind. The tunnel was tight and dusty, and the air smelled of earth and old stone. Meena moved carefully, her flashlight revealing small carvings on the walls. The carvings looked like instructions or a guide, similar to the symbols they had found in the journals and on the map. It felt as though the inventor had left a path to lead them safely to the hidden treasure. After walking for several minutes, the tunnel opened into a small underground chamber. Meena and Ravi paused, amazed by what they saw. The chamber was not large, but it was filled with inventions, sketches, and journals, much like the chest they had discovered in the forest. Shelves lined the walls, holding carefully preserved mechanical devices and blueprints. The floor had a large chest similar to the one they had found before. Mina approached the chest carefully. The carvings on its surface were intricate, and a lock secured it firmly. She examined the journals and realized that the code for this chest might be hidden in the notes. Together, Mina and Ravi studied the symbols and numbers, carefully piecing together the combination. After several attempts, Mina entered the correct sequence. The lock clicked open, and the chest lid lifted slowly. Inside, they found something truly extraordinary. The chest contained a collection of inventions far beyond what Mina had ever imagined. Some devices looked like small engines, others were intricate tools designed to solve complex problems. There were also journals filled with sketches, diagrams, and detailed explanations of each invention. Mina could feel the intelligence, creativity, and vision of the inventor in every page. Ravi picked up one of the mechanical devices and examined it closely. "These are incredible," he said. The inventor was thinking far ahead of his time. These designs could change the way people work, travel, and even live. Mina carefully opened a journal. The pages contained detailed notes about each invention, instructions for building them, and explanations of their purpose. Some inventions were simple, meant to make life easier, while others were complex machines that could generate energy or perform tasks that would normally require many people. Mina realized that the true treasure was not money or jewels. It was knowledge, creativity, and ideas carefully hidden for generations. They spent hours exploring the chamber, examining the inventions, and reading the journals. Every discovery made them more amazed. Mina felt a deep connection to the inventor, imagining the careful planning that went into hiding these treasures. The inventor had created a puzzle that only someone patient, curious, and brave could solve. Mina realized that the journey itself had been as important as the treasure they had found. As evening approached, Mina and Ravi decided to leave the chamber and return to the town. They carefully packed the journals and a few small inventions in their backpacks. They locked the chest again, ensuring that it remained secure. Mina felt a sense of responsibility. The inventions were valuable, not just for their designs but for the knowledge and history they contained. Walking back through the forest, Mina reflected on the day's discoveries. She had followed the map, solved the puzzle, and uncovered the hidden chamber. She had seen the inventor's vision come to life through the inventions and journals. Ravi walked beside her, equally amazed, occasionally commenting on how clever the designs were. The journey back to the car was quiet, but filled with a sense of accomplishment. Mina felt proud, not just because they had found the treasure, but because she had respected the inventor's intentions, followed the clues carefully, and worked with Ravi to solve the mystery. The experience had taught her patience, courage, and the value of curiosity. Once back at the vintage car, Mina carefully loaded the backpacks with the journals and inventions. She started the engine, feeling the car come alive under her hands. The journey through the hills had been challenging, but it had been worth every step. She knew that sharing the discoveries with experts and the town would ensure that the inventor's vision would be appreciated and preserved. As the sun set behind the hills, Mina looked at the car and smiled. The abandoned vehicle had led her to an adventure she would never forget. The secret the inventor had hidden was extraordinary, not because of wealth, but because it contained knowledge, creativity, and the story of a brilliant mind from the past. Mina realized that the adventure was not over. There were still inventions to study, journals to understand, and the story of the inventor to share. But for now, she felt a sense of satisfaction and joy. She had uncovered a hidden world, solved puzzles, and discovered treasures that could inspire generations. Ravi looked at Mina and said, "I think this is just the beginning. There is so much more to learn from these inventions and journals." Mina nodded. "Yes, and we will. But today, we celebrate what we have found. We solved the puzzle, followed the map, and discovered the true secret of the vintage car." The journey had been long, challenging, and filled with surprises, but Mina knew that every step had been worth it. The vintage car, the hidden chest, the inventions, and the journals had all come together to create an extraordinary adventure. Mina and Ravi had uncovered a story that had been waiting for decades, and it was only the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. Back in town, Mina carefully placed the journals and inventions in her garage. She had spent days unpacking, studying, and organizing everything they had found in the hidden chamber. Ravi helped her, making notes, sketches, and taking photographs. The discoveries were extraordinary, but Mina realized that the adventure was not only about solving puzzles or finding hidden objects. It was about understanding the story, the life, and the vision of the inventor who had left this legacy behind. Mina decided to share the findings with the local museum. She wanted the inventions and journals to be studied, appreciated, and preserved. The museum director, Mr. Abbas, was astonished when he saw the journals. "These are incredible," he said, flipping through the pages. "The level of creativity and intelligence here is remarkable. This is a discovery that could inspire many generations." Mina felt proud. She had followed her curiosity, her patience, and her courage, and now she could see the impact of her work. The inventor wanted someone to understand and protect these creations, she explained. "I think it was meant to be discovered by someone curious and careful." The museum organized a special exhibition for the journals and inventions. Experts came from different towns to study the designs and learn from the notes. Mina watched as people examined the inventions, studied the diagrams, and marveled at the creativity of the inventor. She felt a sense of satisfaction knowing that something she had discovered was now inspiring others. The story of the vintage car and the hidden treasures began to spread throughout the town. People who had once ignored the abandoned car now wanted to see it. Children came to Mina's garage, asking questions about the car, the map, and the puzzles. She told them about the adventure, about the letters and photographs, and about how curiosity and patience had led her to the discovery. Mina realized that the adventure had changed her. She was no longer just a mechanic. She had become an explorer, a solver of puzzles, and a guardian of knowledge. She had discovered that patience, attention to detail, and courage could reveal secrets that were hidden for decades. She felt a new sense of confidence and purpose in her work. Ravi, who had been by her side throughout the journey, smiled at her one evening. "You have changed, Mina," he said. "You see the world differently now. You understand that there are stories and treasures hidden everywhere, waiting for someone brave enough to find them." Mina nodded. "Yes, and I also understand that the journey is as important as the destination. Solving the puzzles, following the map, and discovering the secrets taught me more than anything else." As the exhibition opened at the museum, Mina was invited to speak about the discovery. She told the audience about the abandoned vintage car, the hidden box, the letters, and the map. She explained how the adventure had taken her and Ravi to the hills, through forests, and into a hidden underground chamber. People listened intently, amazed by the story. "The true treasure," Mina said, "was not gold or jewels. It was knowledge, creativity, and the vision of the inventor. It was a story waiting to be discovered. And the adventure taught me that curiosity, patience, and courage can unlock even the most carefully hidden secrets." The townspeople began to look at Mina differently. They respected her not just for her skill as a mechanic, but for her courage, intelligence, and determination. The abandoned car, which had once been ignored and forgotten, became a symbol of curiosity, adventure, and discovery. Mina continued her work at the garage, but her life had changed. She often spent time with the journals, learning from the inventor's ideas, and sometimes trying to recreate small inventions. Ravi stayed with her, sharing ideas and helping her test different concepts. Together, they explored not only the inventions but the lessons behind them. The vintage car remained in Mina's garage, cleaned and polished, no longer abandoned. It had become a reminder of the adventure, the mysteries, and the discoveries. Every time Mina looked at it, she remembered the thrill of uncovering the box, solving the puzzles, and finding the hidden chamber in the hills. One afternoon, Mina received a letter from a professor who had studied the inventor's journals. The professor wanted to meet her and discuss the inventions in detail. Mina realized that the discoveries she had made were not just valuable for the town but could have an impact on a much larger scale. She felt proud that her curiosity and persistence had led to something so meaningful. Mina thought back to the first day she had discovered the abandoned car behind the warehouse. She remembered the dust, the rusty tires, and the feeling that something special was hidden inside. At that moment, she had no idea how much that small decision would change her life. She had discovered a hidden world, solved mysteries, and preserved the legacy of a brilliant inventor. The journals and inventions inspired Mina to teach others about creativity and curiosity. She started small workshops for children and young adults, explaining how to think creatively, solve problems, and explore their surroundings carefully. The lessons of the inventor and the adventure were now being passed to a new generation. Mina realized that the true legacy of the vintage car, the hidden box, and the inventor was not just the inventions themselves. It was the story of discovery, patience, courage, and curiosity. It was a reminder that even in ordinary places, extraordinary secrets could be found. And it was a lesson that anyone willing to look carefully and follow their curiosity could uncover wonders hidden in plain sight. Years later, Mina often told the story of the abandoned vintage car to young mechanics, students, and visitors at the museum. She always emphasized the lessons she had learned: patience, careful observation, teamwork, and courage. The story inspired many people to explore, to be curious, and to value knowledge and creativity. The vintage car, once forgotten, had now become a symbol of adventure and discovery. Mina had uncovered the secret that the inventor had hidden, preserved it, and shared it with the world. The letters, photographs, maps, journals, and inventions had all come together to tell a story that would be remembered for generations. Mina smiled as she polished the car one morning. She had started as a simple mechanic, curious about old vehicles, and had become a guardian of history, knowledge, and creativity. The adventure had changed her life forever, teaching her that sometimes the most ordinary discoveries could lead to the most extraordinary journeys. And as she looked at the car, Mina knew that the world was full of hidden stories, waiting for someone brave, patient, and curious enough to find them. She had found one. And she knew that there were many more waiting for the right person to uncover them.